Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wrestling Art with Chris Things.
Ray! Do the hammerlock! I do the hammerlock! Ray! Do the hammerlock, you turkey necks! Yeah, do the hammerlock! I do the hammerlock! Everybody do it!
Hi friends, welcome to a little old podcast known as Wrestling Art with Chris Things. This is first one we've done in a little bit, and a very special podcast that we're recording in person at Green Beacon Brewing Co. here in Brisbane with dear friend of the show, Joe. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you, as I just took a sip of my beer in the middle of it, about to throw it at me, so very professional from me.
I mean, I was just saying to you how excited I am to get to do this in person and get to be enjoying beers as well. You know, a little... Oh!
Some actuality.
I feel like this is how podcasts are meant to be recorded. And the sad state of affairs are that most of the time we're not actually in person. So you can't really make this happen all the time. But when, like, the set of circumstances come together, such as tonight, like, this kind of weirdly organic came together, right?
It did. We were trying to sort out, like, when are we free to do it? When are we free to talk about it? Next thing you know, we had our first in-person podcast. So, funny how that works.
Oh, I am honoured to get to do this with you, my friend.
Likewise.
So, I was telling you, and I'm happy to tell everyone else here, and I'm excited to share all the actual noises of in-person recording today with everyone. We've got cars, we've got music background noise. I think it all adds to the ambiance. So I'm very excited to share this with everyone here today. But as I was telling you, Joe, earlier, I've been a little bit stressed lately. You know, I last week, a couple of weeks back, did the big announcement of the upcoming art show of the joy of Lucha Libre with Chris Things. My little ode to the joy of painting and my love for Bob Ross. But you know, it's a wild thing that this has come together. As I was saying last time, it's just crazy that this is happening. Crazy that Super Wow Gallery has afforded me the confidence of putting together an entire international scale art show in the incredible gallery that they run. So I'm just trying to do my best to, you know, try to make it as good as I want it to be, you know. So I've been speaking to a lot of absolutely incredible artists from around the world. I've been so honored for, like, everyone so far that has, like, been part of this thing. We've actually had people that have already sent their paintings off over here to Australia to make sure that they get here in time, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah.
And I am so stoked that I'd say a really good amount of the previous podcast artist guests that we've had on Wrestling Art with Chris Things are going to be part of this exhibition.
That's awesome.
So I'll be doing some sort of like big announcements, sort of like as we get a little bit closer on the road to the show, and I'm hoping to do some sort of like artist lead up interviews kind of thing to kind of like, I don't know, just get everyone excited, you know?
Jazz it up, for sure.
Yeah.
Hype it up, sell it.
I mean, that's the idea.
Like a wrestler, a good promoter.
The old carny wrestling promoter, baby.
Exactly.
I'll be paying everyone in hot dogs and handshakes, just so you know.
Exposure. We're going to give you lots of exposure here. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But it's been a stressful thing, to be honest. You know, it's like you want it to go well, so you put a lot of pressure on yourself with this thing. So I've got sort of the combined deal of which is it's a bucket list item, honestly, to be able to like curate a show like this. It's something I've always wanted to do, and as I was saying to you before, it's like it just happens to be in such like a high profile setting. But then also the element of like I'm going to be making like a bunch of art for this show as well. So I got sort of two hats there, and so far I've been more wearing my curator hat, I guess. But, also being a little wary that I'm like, well, I do need to make the things.
Yes.
And hopefully make the things to a high degree of quality. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a thing, but I guess I'm still really excited,
I'm excited to come.
Mate,
Yeah.
I'm so stoked that you said you'll be able to be there for our big night.
Yeah.
I'm also excited to let everyone know, and let you know, that we will also be doing a Cult Lucha screening as part of this event.
Very cool.
So I was a little bit not sure how we'd make this work to start with, in terms of like, I don't know whether people want to come to an art show and then watch a whole movie kind of thing. I was like, kind of in my mind, I'm like, I'm not sure how that works. But we came up with a great idea when I was chatting to Andrew, where we're actually doing a little add-on. We're going to do a special Sunday afternoon movie in the gallery where, folks can come along and just watch a movie if they feel like it. So I am so excited for that. I'm so excited for us to be able to bring Cult Lucha on the road, our first event outside of Netherworld.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we're ticking a lot of boxes here, and I'm very enthused about it all.
And come to the Sunshine Coast, go to the beach, and then go to an art show.
Right?
Yeah.
Moffat Beach as well. Beautiful, beautiful place.
Incredible place. If anyone's not visited, yeah.
I would say, from having lived up there at the Sunshine Coast, more, I'm a hill person, which that you have your beach people and your hill people when it comes to the Sunshine Coast. I'd say I'm much more of a hill person, but I do love a good beach. It's a special thing.
Of course.
And I would say of all of the ones we have in that like area, like the Moffat Beach one's my favourite.
A little bit less exposed than your Malula bars and your Noosa Beach. Noosa Beach is fantastic, but
Noosa Beach is very cool. I would recommend any of our like international, if anyone wants to come to Australia and you're coming up to Queensland, make sure you go to Noosa Beach.
Yep.
It's an incredible place.
You can fly in Sunshine Coast Airport's very close. Yeah, for sure.
But in terms of like a little bit more of a local kind of place that has its own sort of like magical kind of vibe, I feel like Moffat Beach has become my favourite. I also really love it that you can actually take your dogs there.
Yeah.
A lot of the beaches like in the Sunshine Coast area actually like dogs are not allowed to walk on the beach even if they're on leash, which blew me away.
Although in reality there's plenty of dogs wandering around on beaches where you're not supposed to have dogs.
Yeah.
Loosely enforced. And I have to say, to people's credit, don't let them, do their doggy business on the beach. And I remember the first time we took our dog to Moffat Beach, because you could take him off leash. She ran around like a maniac, and then she got thirsty. But then what did she drink? She drank seawater, and then had diarrhea.
Oh, no.
Had diarrhea all the way home to Brisbane. So that was our first experience with our dog.
Oh dear. It happens.
It does.
We've all been there.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, the old beach butt.
Like Barley Belly, but different.
Yeah. Anyone listening to this, you want to come along, we'd love to have you. Very excited. This is sort of our road to the joy of Lucha Libre with Chris Things. That's the way I'm looking at this next series of shows as we lead up to the big day.
Are you going to point to the sign at the end of each podcast?
I mean, I will. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to see it being like an audio format, but I hope you know I'll be pointing up to that sign in this grand arena where we record this podcast.
Yeah, to the stepdaddy of them all.
Oh man. But yeah, we actually just met up at Working Title Brewery before, where it worked quite well. You know, I'm down here for a few different things, including I was dropping off a painting to Working Title for the upcoming Deimo's Skateboards Cowboy Group Art Show at Working Title. Shout out to Deimo's Skateboards. Wonderful Instagram handle, one of my real favorites, and a dude who I really respect his Instagram videos. He does like the story thing really well. I think for a lot of artists it's sort of like hard for us to do sort of the engaging talk to the camera kind of thing. Like I know I struggle with it. Like sometimes I'll try to force myself to do it, but like it doesn't feel like natural in any sense. So I want to give a little shout out to Deimo if you happen to listen to this. Like great videos, great sort of like taking the piss of a little bit of sort of like that like artist video thing, and the sort of ironic element of it. I think he does a really good job with that, and he's doing the thing. He's curating a show. He's doing the exactly what I'm talking about. He's like putting together this like incredible cowboy themed group art show. Obviously I'm a little bit of a busy man at the moment, but like there was no way I was going to miss out on being part of Brisbane's cowboy art gala show of the season. So I'm just very excited to be part of it. The opening night is going to be this Saturday night, I believe, at 6 p.m. if memory serves. You should probably check out Deimo's Skateboards Instagram page and the Working Title page for official details. But as far as I'm aware, opening night is going to be on Saturday night, and I'm really excited. We've got a bunch of local artists that are going to be part of the show that I'm really excited to be, there with, and even I'll save this as a special announcement, but another gentleman that's going to be part of the Joy of Lucha Libre art show. Ooh. So that's a little teaser there. But either way, I'm excited that that's our next thing coming up on the Chris Things calendar. And then I think from that point forward, we have a Lucha Fantastica Brisbane show coming up, which I'm very excited about.
What date's that? Oh, sorry, I'm asking a hard question.
you should probably check on the phone that we're not recording on.
That's a good idea.
But yeah, it's been a while since Lucha Fantastica has been in Brisbane, so I'm excited for them to be back here. They had the Sunshine Coast show last week, actually, which I was like unfortunately in Tasmania for, but I was so excited for that. I went around all the local businesses and like put up some posters and that kind of thing. Man, everyone here knows how much I love Lucha Fantastica, and it's so cool for me to get to sell my art at these like Australian Mexican wrestling shows. So, do we have a date?
We have a date. Saturday, the 5th of September.
The 5th of September, baby.
Family show starts at 4 p.m. with all the kids get to come along to, which is a great idea. Because every picture I see on their Instagram with the kids, you can just tell they just love it.
Dude, have you ever been to one of their family shows?
I haven't, but my future niece. She's not my niece yet, but my future niece would love it. And she's 4, so she's probably just a little bit too young. She's probably about a year away, I think, like 5, 6. I reckon.
I've definitely seen some 4-year-olds that just go off chops.
Yeah, well, she would. She's also just a really active kid. She'd love just the banging and the crashing, and so I should take her along to that. But I've been to 3 Lucha Fantastica shows now. One in Melbourne, where you were at. Well, you've been at all the ones I've been at, but a couple of venues here in Brisbane. This one's at Eaton's Hill in Brisbane. But yeah, Collingwood Town Hall one in Melbourne's amazing.
Such great vibes.
Beautiful, beautiful venue, and just packed out, and everyone having fun. Did the tequila tasting one time.
That is how it should be done, my friend.
Which was...
Get that mezcal.
Oh, so this beautiful Sotol, which is a form of mezcal or something we had. I even bought a bottle. I ordered a bottle online. Funny though, because some people there are very much sipping like the finest tequilas and getting an explanation. Other people are just smashing as much tequila as time will allow.
Isn't that always the great, like, that's the combination you get at all these things?
Yes.
Like, even like when I was in Mexico, you know, you go on like a mezcal like tour where you go to like the origin like distilleries and stuff, and it's like always a combination of people. It's like, all right, I want to hear the lore, I want to hear the background, I want to know the tasting notes. And other people are just like, I'm just here to get fuck-eyed, man.
How many will you feed me before you cut me off? I'll take that now. Yeah,
Which I kind of love.
yeah. Hey, it's them. We're all spending the same amount of money.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've the kids ones are like great. Like they do the piñata, and all these kids rush over it like zombies. Like it's hilarious. But I mean, the adult shows are the most fun ones. That's where the tequila happens. That's where all the good things happen. It's a wild time. So very excited for Lucha Fantastica coming up. But yeah, let's all just focus in on the joy of Lucha Libre with Chris Things. That's the main emphasis here. September 26th, baby, opening night, Moffat Beach. Let's do it. But I think that's enough for our little intro here. We've got some match of the week goodness to get to in a little bit. So let's throw over to Joe and Chris in the studio, which is going to be here as well. All right, let's go to our intro music. So we're back and we're here, and it's match of the week time, baby. I have missed doing the match of the week, like regular kind of like roundup. It's like I always am worried how far behind we're falling with these things. So I'm like, all right, us carving out 3 of these is probably a good idea. At some point we're probably going to get to where we're doing these and we're talking about match of the weeks from like a year ago. I hope that doesn't happen, but we'll see how we go. But either way, we have 3 delightful matches of the week to talk about. So first of which being Sid, Psycho Sid Vicious, whatever you want to call him.
I call him the ruler of the world.
So great. Versus Sting in an absolutely tremendous match from WCW that, in a lot of ways, you might look at it and be like, this is not the greatest match ever, but like in terms of speaking to the love of my heart for professional wrestling, this just lit up all the good nostalgia that I absolutely adore. Early 90s, incredible match before Sid jumped so many times between WWF and WCW, right?
Yeah.
I think this was sort of towards the end of his WCW run before he went back to WWF, before he went back to WCW.
Yeah, that'd be right, because this is before he comes back as Sean's bodyguard. Would that be right?
Yeah.
And then Sean, then he goes, because he has a championship match with Shawn Michaels later on.
I mean, we have that incredible match, which is one of my favourite Shawn Michaels matches of all time, the Royal Rumble one, you know, in San Antonio, I think, for the WWF Championship, which I'd say for both Sid and Shawn, one of both of their greatest matches they ever had.
Interesting.
Which is, I don't know, hot take?
Hot take?
Hot take Jones, I'm not sure. But one of my real favourites. But anyway, so that's our first one, cab off the ranks. Then we also have incredible Walter versus Speedball Mike Bailey match from Riptide Wrestling, match that we actually played at Wrestling Club. That I can't remember whether I loved it so much that I played it at Wrestling Club after it being a match of the week, or whether it was one of those ones where it was like the Wrestling Club one and then that was my favourite one at Wrestling Club. These are the problems, people, that we run into when we do it, however long it's been since the actual match of the week.
And also involving heavy drinking at Wrestling Club.
Yes, yes, exactly. But we're doing it as honestly as we possibly can. And then finishing it off strong with just absolutely wonderful match, WWE World Championship match, I believe, between CM Punk, the reigning and defending champion, and Prince Devitt, or
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor.
Yep.
Yes, Finn Balor, in a match that I really, really loved. So much more than I thought I would. Like, just a really good, like, one of those... I don't know, I like when the up north territory can, like, surprise us with just, like, here's an actual professional wrestling match.
What a concept. What a concept.
Yeah, so novel.
Yeah.
So that's our 3 for the day today. So we've got... I like to do the official business here. Hopefully this is still recording as I'm doing this. I think it is. Our matches of the week in question. This week we are discussing matches of the week number 130 through 132. We're currently up to 147. So you can see that my concerns about us running a little bit behind. But that's okay. That's okay. But to kick us all off, actually, before we kick us all off, I'll ask you a question, Joe. It's one of my favourite things when we do these match of the week, episodes of the podcast. Before we get into the individual matches themselves, any uniting things or contrasting things that you thought were interesting of this group viewing of matches that, again, as usual, all kind of different, but some things may be in common.
Uniting themes, actually, one thing I would say was Balor in his match with Punk and Sid in his match with Sting both love a good sort of corner stomp where you jump up quite high and bring your foot down on the opponent. There's a bit of that.
I think that might be the first time I've ever heard someone compare Prince Devitt and Sid Vicious.
But what's interesting, I will say, here's the thing about it is Sid, for all his city goodness, is clearly being very careful not to bring all of his weight down on Sting's neck, because Sid's a massive guy, and worried to lay it in strong style, he might legit injure Sting.
I mean, I've seen him not have those quite same qualms when he's working against jobbers in like late 80s WCW.
No, that's a fair criticism.
Enhancement talent. Let me clarify that. Enhancement talent.
Not the job squad. So that, but Prince Devitt / Balor lays his stuff in on Punk a mite heavier and a bit more convincing. So that's I can't really get there. How am I going to loop in Walter / Gunter versus Mike Bailey? Also a lot of footwork. How about that?
I like it.
A lot of footwork, obviously.
A lot of educated feet, I might say, as Jim Ross might say.
Of course.
I was thinking about this, and my thing, I guess, is like, it's not a regular occurrence where all three of our matches of the week are like a sort of like match that's sort of designed for like a Western fan, like generally like American style professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I think like across the board we've got that for all three of these, even though one of them takes place in Brighton in the UK, but still, generally speaking, I'd say that's like a pretty American style match, indie American style match for its day. Absolutely incredible for what it was.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'd say for this one, that's probably the biggest similarity for me. We've got like three more sort of like American style wrestling matches all together here, from different time periods, which I think is interesting. So you get to sort of jump into, like, it's always weird to me when you're like talking about like the 90s as being like the real back in the day. Like,
I had that thought because this is Halloween Havoc 93 with Sting.
Which to me is not that long ago in the grand scheme of things.
No, but then at the same time, you're looking at Sting and his presentation there, and who would think that 30 years later, Sting would be wrestling, or 31 years later, he's wrestling his final match.
Right?
I think it was 31, was Revolution, where he retired.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of a crazy scenario that he would be wrestling his final match that many years later.
Yeah.
Full credit to him that he's doing that.
I mean, you know how much I love like me some old man wrestlers. Like I still say the peak of a wrestler's career is when they get into their 50s. Like before that, you're just working up to the peak. After that, you're slightly maybe ducking down. But like 50s,
prime wrestling years.
50s Tenru, baby. That's where it's at.
That's great.
50s Terry Funk.
The good news for me is my best wrestling days are ahead of me then.
Exactly. And I would like to think in general, days of our life. And, I'm going to be turning 40 this year, in November. So I'm excited for my 40s, but more so my wrestling prime of my 50s. That's when I really have to make the comeback and make it happen.
Exactly.
But let's jump into our first match. So the aforementioned match here, match of the week 130, Sid Vicious versus the Stinger, baby. This one took place on October 24th, 1993. WCW's stellar Halloween Havoc 1993 pay-per-view from the UNO Lakefront Center in New Orleans, Louisiana, which I actually got to attend an event at in this arena, my friend.
Oh, it's very close packed in, the crowd, when you're there.
Incredible venue.
Yeah.
Like the way it's sort of like it feels intimate whilst also feeling like big time kind of thing. But I was there for the Ring of Honor's Supercard of Honor show at the WrestleMania weekend when there was the big New Orleans WrestleMania weekend a little while back. And the highlight of that was the hotly anticipated Kenny Omega versus Cody Rhodes match in Ring of Honor at the time, before Cody ever came to AEW. This was fantastic. Honestly, the overall show was really, really great. It actually set the Ring of Honor attendance record at the time. And it was part of the OG Ring of Honor under Sinclair before we sort of got to the current iteration. And one of my really fond wrestling memories of I think maybe WrestleMania weekend's probably changed it a little bit these days, where it's sort of
it's in Saudi Arabia. Is that what you
I mean, I'm not sure that the collective are going to be running a show in like downtown
Riyadh?
Riyadh.
Possibly not.
Yeah, we're not. Maybe, I'm not sure about this, Joe, but there's a chance we're not going to get Effie's big gay, like, whatever the show's called in Riyadh. I don't know about this.
Yeah, you could be right. So, I don't know why you would say that, but yeah.
It's an out there prediction, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, I used to, travel over there. I used to actually, go there and hang out with some of my much loved friends. That we used to do the what was the name of our previous podcast? Grown Men Watch This Shit. That's it. Shout out to John and Jeremy. Very fond memories of my life. But I think that actually was the weekend where I got talking to Josh of Keeping It Strong Style. We went to a blood sport show together. We got talking about shoot style wrestling, and this was where basically the whole concept of me doing a podcast came from. Oh. So full circle moment.
Well done.
But anyway, long way of getting to this match. Sid Vicious versus Sting, baby. I love this match. There's some things about it that might not make you think it's an all-time classic, which are fair calls.
Yep.
But also, this just, in terms of this thing meant to be being a love letter to the kind of wrestling that I just really enjoy, and watching something that was the thing that I got the most enjoyment of in that particular week.
Yeah.
That's what this was.
I completely agree.
Our food is coming.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to grab some cutlery for you.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun. My first note is that people can watch this very easily on YouTube, on WCW channel. Mm-hmm. The intro to the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view is a skit with these children.
Oh my gosh. This is absolutely incredible. So it's like a Halloween, trick-or-treating kind of thing. Uh-huh. These, kids, we're what's going on here? They, go up to this scary-looking house, and then of all people to be answering the door, everyone's favourite uncle and hero, Tony Schiavone, baby.
And you hear a child say, "Wow, it's Tony Schiavone!" Which, who hasn't said that in their life?
I hope everyone, at least once.
Exactly.
Thank you. I'm really happy that we get to capture in podcast form.
Me distributing your cutlery for you?
Cutlery and a classic Australian palmy arriving to the table, which for our friends overseas is a real symbol of Australiana, I think.
A palmy or a parmigiana or a parma, depending on where you're from in Australia. But yes, no, and then the match itself, very fun. I mean, my notes from it are one of them is, "Oh, that dastardly colonel."
Robert Parker, baby.
Robert Parker is there at ringside being a quintessential heel. Also very much enjoyed the commentary and where Tony Schiavone, because it is Halloween, is dressed up as Jesse the Body Ventura, who is right beside him with a ball cap.
Awesome.
And a little I know a merkin is a wig for your pubic area, but I don't know what a wig for your face would be. Just a fake beard, I guess. We need a name.
I'm going to call it a face merkin.
A face Tony Schiavone in a ball cap and a face merkin and a feather boa. But really big. I mean, the big takeaway I think I took out of it was it just reinforces just what an absolute massive babyface Sting was. The minute he walks into that venue, they're howling for him. Obviously, Sid's the heel, he beats the crap out of him, but every time Sting has a comeback, the crowd just goes electric. There's a dude who must be in his early 20s in the crowd who they keep cutting to, who has full Sting makeup, full Sting haircut, and is just a rabid Stinger.
Incredible.
The whole way. So that was my big takeaway, was just how
Stingermania's running wild, baby.
It was. And then what's always funny though, because with this match in particular, I hadn't seen it before. I've seen your art, so when I see the art, I'm always then sort of watching the match and be like, all right, when's Chris going to choose? When's his little moment? And it's a great moment of a submission, a Rhea
Like a chin lock.
Like a chin lock.
Such a basic move, but like done so well.
And shot really, really well. And actually, there's some great, on those points I mentioned earlier about the kicks, there's some great camera work from the cameraman going up with Sid as he jumps and bringing it down onto Stinger as he does it, which sort of just heightens the impact of a move which probably isn't that impressive if you're in the audience. So
I mean, I feel in general like WCW's like cinematography and like filming of these matches is like so underrated by time. They had like such a different feel to it than the WWF stuff, especially like contemporary stuff that you see now. Like there was such a drop off, I think, in my like a marked drop off in my interest in AEW when they used to have the guy who was in charge of the video editing and the filming of WCW. His name's escaping me right now, which is like really annoying, but like maybe it'll come back, we'll see. But and then he retired and then they got in a new guy, and those early days of AEW really spoke to my nostalgia because it was like the same filming style, the same editing style as WCW. And then it's just really markedly changed when this mysterious stranger retired. But yeah, I feel like WCW's like videography was just super underrated, and like really getting up in close for those big moments. I think is like the big thing.
Correct.
And I know, especially at the time, like WWF. And especially like with Kevin Dunn, who I definitely don't have as much nice things to say about, his style was very the opposite of that, you know.
Very static, hard cam. Everything is working towards the hard cam.
Yeah, and like those constant like cuts that got just so mind-numbing towards the end. Like just, hey, maybe in this 30-second span of time we can cut like 30 times. Like that'd be a great idea, right? But no, I feel like this era, you watch early 90s WCW, which I have so much nostalgia and love for. It's just beautiful to watch. It's really engaging, and the actual like cameramen like jumping up on the ring apron and really getting in there. Like I thought that was so great. Like it's. You can feel the impact. This feels a lot more immersive than you get in a lot of even current day wrestling.
No, I thought that was fun, and then the other thing was just a fun sort of finish with the Colonel. You know, the villain undone by his own villainy is like a great classic, and honestly something we don't see enough of in a clever way. Because normally now when that happens, the manager or the dastardly run in, you know, goes to hit someone with the belt and hits the wrong person with the belt, and in this one he's trying to hold down the boots, but the boots look kind of the same. But bear in mind that Sid's boots are probably 4 sizes larger than Sting's because Sid's an enormous human being. That's the other thing actually coming out of it is, and they Jesse remarks on it, is that Sid does make Sting, who's objectively an enormous built human, Sid Vicious makes him look like, I don't know, like it doesn't become a David versus Goliath match like the Walter one and Speedball does, but it is a noted size differential, which is fun because Sting probably doesn't get in the ring with too many people who are that much bigger than him.
Yeah, I feel like one of my favourite Sting general kind of like themes in terms of him like wrestling other guys is that when he's against the bigger opponents. And I feel like they're my favourite Sting matches in general. Like this, you know, great sort of like vibe of, especially when you see Sting get show off the strength against like the big guy, like that's always a big great pop. But you know, my favourite Sting matches are against Vader. And it's like, you know, there's not many big men, you know, as good as Vader. So it's like that's such a great high point, especially the physicality and everything. So great. But yeah, there's something great about Sting wrestling the bigger dudes. which I think is one of the things that made this match like so cool, and just really fun. You know, I think I got to revel in that nostalgia, that early 90s period. There's something, so I really wanted to make sure to say that Sid during this period, and Sting always, I mean, Sid always, is, what's magical about him is his ridiculous intensity. You know, just at all times, and it just exudes out of the screen. You know, regardless of whether it's like a high point in the match, a low point in the match, whatever, at all times, Sid is just like oozing this ridiculous intensity, like in every way. And it's like, maybe his wrestling style isn't like the most like ridiculous exciting, like he'll throw a big boot or a power bomb, and I think that's pretty bloody awesome. But like in terms of just his general vibes, just gives off the most outrageous intensity in every little moment, and even down to that moment that I picked for the actual, you know, illustration with the chin lock. It's like, rarely do you see a chin lock where someone is just like, you feel like there's like a vein just like pumping on the side of someone's like head. That's a great point.
That's a great point. In that normally the presentation is the person who has the chin lock is kind of like locked it in and is just patiently waiting for the other person to finally give in. And you see it like a lot of submission. It's like, I've got this in, and it's something actually not to the same degree at all, but like, because it was finished, I guess. But you know, when Brett locked in the sharpshooter, Brett locks that in as there's like a desperation to it. He's not just locking it in and sitting there like patiently, like, if I just sit here for long enough, you'll tap out, which is, of course, what would actually happen if you put someone in the sharpshooter. You don't need to strain too greatly. You just lean back until they tap out or their legs pop out of their hips. But, yeah, I totally agree. And then the other thing that's fun about this match is all the ridiculous, not ridiculous actually, very genuinely, to my mind, very funny post-match stuff going on where Sid's very annoyed at Colonel Parker for holding his boot, and it's like, is Sid gonna hit him? And I don't know what the storyline was being set up. Does he eventually turn on the Colonel?
I assume it was leading to Sid's big baby face kind of turn, you know. Probably,
but that's a good fun moment. But to your point, there's about Sid's intensity. There's a certain portion there where obviously Cameron gets up on the apron, and Sid, as he's sort of been wailing on Sting for a while, just turns to the camera and just has a bit of an impromptu half promo where he proclaims himself ruler of the world and all that type of stuff. So it's a great, really fun match.
It's amazing how much that like grew in my mind. Like, in my brain, I was like, what's Sid's moniker again? He's like the master and the ruler of the universe. Like,
master of the universe, yeah.
I mean, whatever it is, whether he's just the ruler of the world or the master and the ruler of the universe, I don't think it really matters all that much. But
there's a great kid in the crowd with a sign that says, Sid Vicious is like the ruler of the world. But I think in Vicious he's forgotten an I, and so you can see he's then had to hastily draw a very capital I squeezed between the rest of the letters in there. But it's very fun.
One of the real great parts about making a wrestling sign as a kid. Love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really fun match, and you know, even if you don't have that same level of nostalgia for this period of WCW as we do, like, I think watch it, and there's definite vibes that you can pick up on. You know, I feel like anyone could like get a lot of joy out of this, and there's a lot of stuff that's like you see here that's just not quite the same in today's wrestling. And I don't know whether that's just like misplaced nostalgia, you know, from an old man yelling at clouds, or whether it's just like something that, you know, there's the little things that I think are really cool about wrestling when you lean into the like proper sort of like commitment of it. And I feel like you watch this stuff and it's like everyone is just committing like so hard, and that's what I really love about wrestling.
I think it's the commitment. I do think there's a physicality aspect too. You've got two very, very big dudes, and so there's at one point there actually I thought Sting's lying basically completely prone on the mat, and Sid just does his move, quite and all this is, like sort of the double axe handle, but a standing one, not from the ring corner or anything. But because it's Sid and he's so big, it does have like a thing like, oh, that might actually really, really hurt. Whereas if the guy's 5'8" and does it, it's not the same. It's just not the same thing.
Yeah.
Same with, like the big boot. It's sort of like you run into the big boot from a guy who's 5'10", it's like whatever. If you run into the big boot from a guy who's 6'10", it's like, well, that looks like it could possibly hurt you.
I guess the big thing also about like the Stinger Splash, like a dude is jacked as Sting, like running at you, jumping through the air,
landing on
boom.
you. Yeah,
that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, yes, it would.
Yeah, great stuff. And the commentary of the match was something I really enjoyed as well. Like, I'm a big fan of Tony Schiavone, of course, but also, like, I reckon Jesse the Body has got to be one of the greatest, like, commentators of all time. I think he defined the heel commentator role that so many other people following him bastardized. I feel like Jesse just brought such, like, a charisma and such a uniqueness to it. It's a joy to listen to, and especially their chemistry with one another. I also really love like Jesse's stuff with Jim Ross. Like that's really enjoyable stuff as well in terms of a commentary team. But the final thing I wanted to bring mention to was the bear hug in this match.
There's two different bear hugs.
And I so wanted to capture that as part of the illustration for the match, but just didn't get quite the right angle through it. But there's just something that was so perfect to me about like Sid having Sting up in this like bear hug, such a universal move, and like Sting's selling, fighting out of it, and the big like classic like clap of the ears that is the ultimate undoing of this like bear hug. It's just like, man.
And the first time he gets out of it, runs the ropes, goes to hit him, but it doesn't work. Next time it does, because he knows the big boot's coming. A nice little an adaptive story moment within the match.
So great. It's such a universal, like, I want to see more bear hugs in wrestling today, Joe.
Well, the other day I was reading about Bruno Sammartino.
Oh, big fan.
And that's talking about bear hugs, but again, I do think you need it doesn't work for everybody, right? Like you need to have a gigantic chest like Bruno Sammartino does, because it looks like, hold on, this guy got a hold of me and started to squeeze me in a bear hug. I might break all my ribs. If Sid grabs me, even if Sid grabs someone in the size of Sting and starts squeezing him like this, Sting's in trouble. So it is a very specific thing, and it is maybe a thing like, for better and for ill, smaller wrestlers these days, Cody Rhodes can't do a bear hug on somebody. Maybe Drew McIntyre could. He's big enough. But a lot of these other guys probably, it's just not a thing you can do anymore.
Yeah, I think I mean that's a big thing of like our big boys like not being as much as a thing as the center point of wrestling these days, which it's weird because like there's some ways where I used to really hate watching wrestling, especially like WWF back in the day, where you just get these big old lugs that's like can't really wrestle, but it's like, oh, they're the buddy guys. But there is something that's bloody great about, like, I think in wrestling in general, like, different body types.
Yes.
You've got your big guy, you got your big fat guy, you got your fit, Kerry Von Erich type, you got your just, like, more athletic Bob Backlund type. Like, I think it's important to have all these bases covered.
Yes.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
But anyway, we're on a tangent and we're probably running through enough time where we need to get to our next match. So our next match, we get to this incredible Walter versus Mike Bailey match. So as mentioned, this was from Riptide Wrestling, a match that we played at Wrestling Club. This was match of the week number 131. This officially took place in Brighthelm Centre in Brighton, East Sussex, UK, July 6th, 2018 for Riptide Wrestling's Riptide International Waters event. Speedball Mike Bailey versus Big Van Walter. My gosh, I watched this match preparing for Wrestling Club, and I remember just like falling in love with it all over again. Then I remember watching it at Wrestling Club and falling in love with it all over again, and especially seeing the scratch bar and like everyone in it like light up. I reckon whatever that Wrestling Club night was, like that was kind of the match that got everyone going. I feel, it's like kind of one where it's like the unique environment of Riptide, the way they filmed it, the fact that there was no commentary and like the live crowd was like the audio element of it was like captured so well. There's so much about this match to love. Like this is just a match that I would present. You know those matches people say, it's like what match would you ever show to someone who's not a wrestling fan? This is it, baby. This or Kenta versus Ricky Marvin, but this.
Well, I mean, we talked about this a little bit with Brad previously, but like, still having watched this again the second time, one of the best filmed and lit. It's a weird thing we don't normally talk about in wrestling, but like one of the best filmed and lit matches I've ever seen. So that's number one. It's
that atmospheric smoke from the smoke machine or whatever it was.
And those down lights, sort of those down spotlights. A David versus Goliath match, a true one, which adds such obvious vibes to it. Although it's funny, right? Because you listen to the crowd. Walter is like, I mean, they like Speedball, but like Walter is clearly a lot of chance for Walter throughout, even though he's supposed to be the heel of this. Such a great combo between the two of them too, because there's a lot of striking, but with the size differential, the fact that Speedball strikes with his legs adds an element of believability to it.
Yeah.
Because if Speedball was trying to just throw these punches at Walter, you'd be like, this isn't going to really hurt Walter. He's 4 times this guy's size. But if he does a spinning heel kick to Walter, or to his, he sweeps Walter's knees with these kicks, you're like, well, yeah, that looks like something Walter doesn't get enough credit for is his selling. He sells his ass off in this when he's supposed to, and then doesn't sell it also when he's supposed to. My note that I wrote was this does make me miss Husky Walter / Gunter.
Yeah, baby.
And this is the period where he's not at his huskiest, he's not at his thinnest either. He's just at this nice...
Perfect level
of like...
I kind of wish he just stayed at that level, ever. This was the perfect level.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not one to say, like, what people...
It's his body, he can do it as he pleases.
Exactly.
Yeah. Walter's listening to this right now, furious at us. Yeah.
Which I'm sure he is.
Yes, of course.
I'm sure Walter has nothing other to do with his time.
No, exactly.
But yeah, this as I'm eating my chips, which is another great element of the in-person podcast. Mm-hmm. We're currently eating our chicken parmesanas and chips. You could probably hear every little slice being
as long as you can't hear us chewing, that's the only thing.
But man, I think this match, I'm a big fan of the the David versus Goliath prototype of a match. I feel like it's one of the greatest prototypes of a wrestling match that we have. And I think this does it so well. Big choppy boy versus little kicky dude. I feel like is such a great, like, you know, xenotype here. And I feel like that's probably what caught the scratch bar in that moment, you know? It's like when we do these wrestling clubs, like, we got everyone up front who are, like, clearly the big-time wrestling fans. And then we have the rest of the bar that are just like, what are we being put through tonight? You know, it might not necessarily be big-time wrestling fans, but everyone kind of gets into it, which is nice. But this was the match I feel that brought everyone together. And I think that was the element, and that's the universal element, you know, sometimes where you'll step back and you look at it and you're like, all right, outside of like the crazy hardcore wrestling perspective, what is it about professional wrestling that brings everyone in, that brings everyone together, that everyone can just be like, oh shit, you know? And that's what this was. Like, ooh, this big old guy that's just slapping this dude's chest to hell, and this like small guy that's kicking real hard. I'm not sure who's going to win.
Yeah. And again, because they both do it at a high level too, so like Speedball's kicks are so clean, they look so good. There's just that element of believability, which then creates the tension for the match, because he could win this. If he wails on this dude enough. Can I just shout out though, Walter does one very sick drop kick in this point, where
good.
he boots Speedball across the ring, which I really loved. So yeah,
I feel like as well, it's funny watching this back like now, you know, when both guys have gone to Speedball, now doing really cool stuff in AEW, Walter doing like crazy good stuff in WWE and really redefining what, you know, big time great wrestling in WWE can be.
he's essentially their only good heel.
I mean,
And he's now, to their credit, like for all their things people want to say, they are just feeding him dudes to end careers, and the idea of creating now the career killer.
man, I'm so excited to watch that one that he had against Nick Aldis. Haven't seen it yet.
Fun. It was fun.
But like, I was a big fan of Aldis like before the, you know, manager stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I was a big fan of like him in NWA back in the day, and like his incredible match that he had against Cody in the, you know, I guess like prototype version of AEW before AEW was a thing. Big fan of this dude, and real excited that he gets to like get his flowers, you know, as a wrestler in WWE, and they bloody paid for Oasis.
That's the craziest. That dude. I thought I was hearing things when they started playing Oasis. I'm like, there is no way Oasis is playing right now, because, you know, WWE famously, with the exception of Punk, and I can't even think of anybody else right now. Hey, it's all that Jeff Rebel.
Most
stuff.
generic slop ever.
There's a couple of good ones, I will say, like, but it's funny, the ones that go off seems to be the ones where the wrestlers have more input. So like Kit Wilson, people like his stuff on TikTok.
Yeah.
And he apparently had more input. He was like, I want this, I want these pop artists, I want it to be like this. Which I get. Like, anyway, we're wandering here, but
As we do.
as we do. Back to this match, I was going to say, back to the art of it, was one of the things you captured really well was the lighting.
Well, thank you.
Was like that real stark downlight, creating these dramatic shadows on them. And I just thought it was really important to capture that, because there's other... And look, it's not perfect. Like, there's a couple of scenes there where they go into the crowd and it's a bit dark. We don't quite know a couple of things that are happening there, but some of the shots...
We got all the stuff that mattered, right?
We did. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I enjoyed it just as much the second time. It does really hold up. There's no like drop off.
Nice. Well, man, thank you for saying that, because that was probably my biggest challenge when I did the art of this one. I was like, that was probably what spoke to me the most visually, was like these incredible visuals, and it was like there was so many moments. I think we spoke about it when we did the podcast with Brad about like that night's wrestling club, of like the amount of incredible visuals that happened during this match.
Yeah.
And then, me, like, trying to capture it, I guess, and try to pay tribute to it. It was, like, I wanted to capture that sort of, like, just the overall vibes of this and this, like, harsh, like, lighting, and this snapshot of the visual feel of Riptide Wrestling. Because it was so unique, and it's not very often that we get that kind of unique thing in professional wrestling in general. It's like there's so much that I hate of like current contemporary 2025, 2026 wrestling that's like both AEW and WWE. So much of it all looks the same.
Yeah.
They've got the same bullshit LED entrance things, nothing looks unique. It's just all the same slop.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you watch this, and from the first moment you see it, you're just like, I've never seen any wrestling that quite looks like this. I mean, assuming you haven't seen much Riptide before.
Yep.
But I loved it, and I thought this match especially, like, as my sort of... I remember when I put this together as, like, a match for Wrestling Club, I was like, this is a match that I feel like represents this cool vibe of what Riptide Wrestling in Brighton was during this, like, in hindsight, brief time that didn't exist for that long. You know, we had a couple magical years of it, and then it's like gone. So I wanted to try to sort of pay tribute to that. And it was actually a challenge, like, as an artist, trying to sort of like, all right, how can I try to do the
choice? You had too many choices,
absolutely. But no, it was very fun to do. That was the main thing. Great match. All right, let's pause this guy and we'll resume. All right, we're back for our final match of the week. As we get to match of the week number 132, CM Punk versus Finn Balor. This one took place on February 28th of this year. WWE's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view from the home of the Blackhawks, the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. The exact same venue that I actually got to see a Blackhawks game the last time I was in Chicago. So good. Just a magical venue, and the magic was in the air for this match, I felt. So this was for the WWE's world title. CM Punk, this was sort of like towards, I guess, the mid to the end of this like title reign now, looking at it in hindsight. But I think looking back at it now, I think we can kind of recognize that it was like a really magical run. I feel like every defense that he had of that belt was a really special one. And it just really reignited like I'm gonna be honest, my faith in WWE for a long time was quite shaken. But it just gave me a renewed sort of like faith in like, man, good stuff can still happen there. And you know, in the same vein as like you watch some of those like classic like Bret Hart matches from like, you know, 97, like 90, 96, 95, that sort of like period. And this was that exact same kind of magic. Like I really loved that this kind of, I mean, we previous to this had, did you see the Raw match that they had
in Dublin?
Yeah, in Dublin.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting starting point, I feel. So, what were your thoughts on that one in a bite-sized format before we get to the main match?
Good question. I kind of felt like, I think I preferred that one, and I think it's because of things not really involved. Oh no, things involved in the match, but things not necessarily involved in the match. So for example, because it's in Dublin, the crowd's obviously so pro Balor, Devitt. I think that added an element for me of, is there a chance that Punk loses the championship here? And that made me enjoy the match more.
Because you just didn't know.
Because I just didn't know. Whereas when you go to Chicago with Punk, he's already beaten Balor. I don't think I ever thought for a moment that he was going to lose it in Chicago.
Which I think is a fair take.
So, like, I don't know that that's a criticism of the match. It's sort of circumstances outside of the match, and sort of my brain working in a sort of more of a meta storyline, back of house thing, thinking, oh, well, he's not going to... They weren't going to ever take the strap off him before WrestleMania. Do you know what I mean? Even that, like...
But I mean, that...
It's Elimination Chamber. And see, I would have more believed that he would have lost it to Balor in Dublin, goes to Elimination Chamber, gets it back, and then is the champion for WrestleMania. So say this Elimination Chamber was occurring for even for SummerSlam, maybe I'd believe it more. So like that's where my brain was at with it.
I mean, it's funny because I almost took it the opposite way, where I remember watching the Dublin match and I thought it was absolutely incredible, and I just absolutely loved, because this was the first time I feel like Finn Balor has been presented at the level that he actually is due for the longest time, for the longest time. Like, he's been doing the Judgment Day thing, or whatever the heck that faction's called these days, and it's been a long time since he's been presented as, like, Prince Devitt, like the guy that he actually is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was delicious.
Welcome. But, I loved that match so much, and I thought it was so cool and unique that we got to see Punk, who is the babyface, but it's like, clearly Devitt is like the hometown babyface, so that like usurps it a little bit.
And he's not as much, for all his heel presentation, he's not Logan Paul. But Logan Paul can still get booed in his own home location because he's such a shit heel that you don't like him even if you're from there. If anything, it's the opposite. You're like, oh, this guy's from here, this is our hometown guy. But that's funny you mention that, because one of the notes that I wrote was just like this match and the other one both just prove what everyone says, which is like they are, and they have largely since he was first given that championship and then he got injured in the match and all this type of stuff, they've largely squandered what they probably could have done with Balor / Prince Devitt the whole time. He can have these matches, and this is a little bit of a shame that like we haven't got to see. That's not to say, like, it's WWE, so it's very different, I understand that, but like there was times there where Judgment Day was quite a prominent heel faction, and they foregrounded Damian Priest, and then they removed him out of that, and then Damian Priest sort of just wandered off into the wilderness of Never Never in WWE, and it's just, there's a lot of talent in that group. It just feels like they didn't really, I mean, I guess they will say like, hey, look, Rhea Ripley is the biggest star in our company for women, so like maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, that was my takeaway a little bit, was like, I wish I'd seen more of this.
I mean, it's interesting for me because I was, to be honest, I was not watching a lot of that stuff. I was not watching those sort of days. I sort of checked out of the product at that point. So I was sort of aware that it's like, all right, Devitt's there, but he's just cashing a check or whatever, which happens, It's like a lot of people when they get to that stage of their career, it's like, hey, you got to just like keep on doing it, make that money, and you're not necessarily having the best matches of your career, but it's like this is the point of your career where you're making the money that's setting up your retirement, So it's like, it is what it is. But I was just so happy to get to see him get his flowers. Mm-hmm. And even in the lead up to this match, I remember watching some of this stuff, and it was like Punk saying, hey, do you know who you are? Like, do you know who, you were? Like, that kind of thing, like reminding him that he is like Prince Devitt. Yeah. And the guy that, like, I remember during that time when I was watching like New Japan, like back in the day, and it was like the incredible like junior heavyweight scene in New Japan, and it was like Prince Devitt and Low-Ki and Kota Ibushi were just doing some of the coolest stuff you ever did see, like the most fun, exciting matches ever. And it wasn't even just like all crazy high-flying stuff. It was just like awesome junior heavyweight style wrestling. So yeah, I think the biggest thing of this match is I was just so happy to see Devitt presented at that level.
And Punk presents him at that level
Yeah.
for the majority of the match.
You know what it reminded me of?
Sorry to interrupt, guys. Just a
No,
heads
you're
up,
right.
we're closing in 10.
Oh,
Thank
good.
you.
It reminded me a lot of like Brett versus 1-2-3 Kid. You know, like bringing a smaller, less experienced guy up. I mean, like Devitt's obviously a bit more advanced than 1-2-3 Kid was at that point, but still, like I feel like it was a masterful leveling up of someone, and you know, in addition to Devitt getting his flowers, I feel like Punk deserves his flowers for that as well.
No, Punk put him over the whole time. Obviously, the crowd was red hot behind him as well. I will say too, the impression. This is where I would love to know. I don't know if you ever watched that Unreal. You wouldn't an Unreal show on Netflix. But it's not what it should be. But this is exactly the type of match where I would love to know what the background creative was to put Devitt in there, and who is Punk in the background advocating for, like, dude, can you give me a bit like, say, AJ Styles before he's on his way out, where you feel like he or someone close to him or understands him is advocating for, dude, give him Nakamura, give him some of these matches so that we can see this dude.
I mean, this is just a suspicion, but I have a very large suspicion that this was Punk being like, hey, let me work Devitt. You might not see him at this level, but I think we can do some magic.
And they probably have a bit of a thing, like, again, they have a little bit of a problem in terms of proper heels at the moment, where your Punk is like, well, it's like Logan Paul, it's Gunther/Walter. You don't really have a huge amount of options. He's already did him at WrestleMania at that point last year. Is that right? Is that WrestleMania last year? That he did, because he won it. SummerSlam, right.
Yeah.
So,
and
like,
then they took it off him and put it on Seth or whatever.
So, like, there's a lot of, you know, there's a bit of a limitation. And that's where I think it's funny, because, like, he could be another heel in that mix for them, but he's in the Judgment Day vortex, and it's sort of just like, oh,
Well, I mean, I think that's a good balancing act. You know, that's what you got to do when you're booking. Like, you got to be like, okay, we heat up this guy. We have this like program. We have this match. We might not want to actually put the belt on him right here. Pull him back down. You know, let's go to the next thing. Then we can bring that back. I think that's been super interesting with Devitt as well, because like that's now something where we're at now, where it looks like they're bringing Devitt back to being like a main kind of player going forward. So I feel like this match is probably in large part responsible for that.
I think those two matches are exactly that.
Yeah.
I think they got him back into, like, oh, that's right, this is the guy who took out, you know, Edge to take over the Judgment Day. So, yeah.
I'm a big fan. I love this match. Like, the actual work in this match, again, very reminiscent of some of those like proper like WWF presentation of actual professional wrestling kind of style matches that I really, really love. I feel like looking back, like that Punk run really surprised a lot of people, especially coming after like the, you know, remember him winning that like the belt in AEW, and everyone was just like, oh, this guy can't do this anymore or whatever. And he proved everybody wrong. Like, I'm a big time CM Punk fan, and I know that's like not always the most popular thing to say, but like I have been for a lot of years, and I'm still proud to say that I am. Like, this dude represents professional wrestling, and he's like carrying that torch in a company that hasn't always been about professional wrestling, and I think that's awesome.
Well, I won't preview one of your future match of the week, but he has had what is, in my view, unquestionably the best match he's ever had. The best match that Roman Reigns has ever had was with him at WrestleMania this year.
Heck yeah.
and I won't talk about the others, but clearly the best match of both nights of WrestleMania.
Yes, absolutely.
There's not much of a competition there, but like
I did not expect that I'd be having a Roman Reigns match of the week, but
but here we are.
here we are.
And to the credit, like there was, I tell you what, my favourite little spot of the match from both of them was Punk does the GTS and Finn lands, and because of the way he lands and where he lands and rolls out of the ring just before Punk can get him and roll him up and pin him. And
So
I thought,
good.
but it all just flowed. You couldn't really see the seams of it, which sometimes with professional wrestling you see the seams of it, and that between both of them, he gave him the GTS just in the right spot. Devitt sold it in just the right way and rolled just believably, and Punk just missed him at just the right moment to be like, yeah, that's some good, nice little work there between the two of you.
And that is the Brett stuff to me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We have just had our final plate taken away from our dinner here. Our
And we have
army.
to wrap up in like less than 10 minutes.
But man, what a match! This is like one of the real ones that renewed my faith in sort of like big time, American professional wrestling. There's a lot of times where I get kind of, my faith is definitely not there, and I'm like, all right, I think this is just not for me. But then I watch stuff like this, and I'm just like, it can be sometimes.
That's how I feel about most Ilya Dragunov matches. When he had the Open Challenge for the US Championship, I was just like, oh yeah, just do this.
Oh man, some of those matches against like that Carmelo dude, so good.
Heaps of fun.
Yeah, this is. So I never planned on running a WWE podcast, but this is probably the closest thing we're ever going to get.
Yeah. And the only other thing to talk about is about the art as well. It's just like even that's a great thing where he locks it in. First time doesn't really work with the sharpshooter, and then he locks it in again, and even Punk.
I mean, that catching him in the sharpshooter bit was just fucking magical.
Really
dude.
good. From the coup de grace, and he's had the coup de grace again. Actually, talk about a link between the matches is you had Sid getting fooled the first time and getting the big boot from Sting being fooled by Sid, getting the big boot from him. Next time catches him, gets it. Exactly the same thing in this. He gets fooled the first time, not fooled, but he gets taken out the first time, gets the coup de grace. Next time, coup de grace comes, he wraps it and turns it into the sharpshooter. I love that kind of stuff.
So great.
It's a bit overused now, like storytelling within the match is a bit overused, but that's kind of within the context of the match. He did it once, he's not, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, sort of thing.
I mean, that's the level of like good storytelling in a match that I would say. It's like when it's actually like functional elements and where we're talking about like bits that play off one another. Great. If you're stopping the match to do like high school drama class, not my thing quite as much. But like if we're just actually using the physical elements of professional wrestling to tell a story, like that is what it's all about.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought this was so great for. And yeah, I think that first Punk title reign was just fantastic all round. And like I'm excited to see where we go for this one.
We'll see what he does. Yeah.
There we go. Thank you very much, everybody. That brings us to the end of the show. I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who listens to this thing. I would like to say a thank you to everyone who indulges me with my constant plugs of this upcoming art show. I'll probably be doing it for a little bit, but I'm very excited about it. Big thank you as well, of course, to the great team at Social Suplex who allowed me to do this podcast. Who allow me to do this for 100 and however many episodes we've been doing this thing for. I appreciate you guys. Socialsuplex.com is the hub of the Social Suplex podcasting network. You got this show, you got Keeping It Strong Style, you got One Nation Radio, the Trish and Sarah podcast. We've got the Tunnel Talk, Imps AEW adventure, I think it is these days, and who knows how many other great podcasts on that network. But I appreciate getting to still do this thing, and thank you everyone who listens, and of course everyone who supports by going to christhings.com.au and buying a print. I still get people from time to time who get the original drawings of the Match of the Week illustration series, including the gentleman across from me, who was I was just so stoked, man, to see that one come through from yourself.
That is the only, we won't spoil it, but that's the only match of the week that I will demand to be on, because it's the only match of the week that we'll both have been physically present for, which
in
is
person.
There's an LA Park match coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I won't spoil it. Oh, I will spoil it now. But your art based on that photo, you know what it reminds me of is that famous picture of Jimi Hendrix lighting his guitar on fire.
Oh my god!
You know where he lights it on fire and he's sort of like conjuring up the flames. It's very much the vibe that's exactly what LA Park has done. Is he throws Mad Dog into it. So
man, well, a lot of mystery for which one that one was. But I'll definitely have you back to talk about that one, my friend. But yeah, man, I appreciate everyone out there who wants to procure these little old chicken scratches that I do on bits of paper with my pen and then turn into these Match of the Weeks. But christhings.com.au is the place to go to buy all those things, to get your fancy art prints of said things. And you're always welcome to hit me up if you are interested in getting a commission, or if you would like to buy an original or any of those kind of things. Please don't be a stranger and swing me a message. But thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate your patronage and your listening to this show. You guys are rad. It's been a nice night. Cheers, Joe.
cheers, brother.
Enjoy.
Wait.
Yeah, do the hammerlock. I do the hammerlock. Everybody's doing it. Do the eye gouge. Yeah, do the eye gouge. Do the eye gouge, you turkey necks. Yeah, do the eye gouge. I do the eye gouge. Everybody's doing it. Okay, you turkey nuts, gather around. Let me show you how to do the crusher.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.